Hey, what's up everybody? Today we got something a little bit different. I'm going to go off script and I'm going to discuss my Romanian list for the Las Vegas Open. The Las Vegas Open is a 1,250.5 game event. A maximum of 1 reinforced platoons, no theater selectors, and no more than 14 order dice. This Las Vegas Open will be my first event that I'm not also in some ways organizing. It'll be my first event outside of Salt Lake City, and it'll be my first event where the gloves are kind of off as far as being competitive goes. So a couple years ago I did an overview of my Romanian army up to that point, and a lot has changed since then. Probably half of the models in this army are ones that were painted maybe 2 or 3 years ago, but all of those have been rebased. Some of those have been stripped and repainted, and of course there's a lot of new models. So I'm going to go through the list. I'm going to show you what the models look like, maybe talk about them a little bit, and then I will discuss some of my strategies and what I hope to achieve at LVO. In our HQ slot, we have a regular second lieutenant with a buddy, both with SMGs because they're free, and having 4 shots is nice. For our troops, we have 2 identical late war infantry sections, both are regular, 1 NCO with the submachine gun, 1 Panzerfaust, and 7 rifles. These will just be my frontline troops, take on infantry squads, and also the Panzerfaust should deter vehicles from at least coming near them. After that, we have the Combat Pioneer section. This is my heavy-hitting squad. We've got 4 SMGs, a Panzerfaust, a flamethrower, and 2 rifles. They will most likely be in the truck, but they're there to take care of dug-in infantry or stubborn vehicles. Then I have a Mountain Division section. These guys are also veteran. 3 infantry with rifle, 4 infantry with a submachine gun, 1 with a light machine gun for a little bit of firepower, and 1 man with a Panzerfaust. These guys can move through rough ground without any penalty, so I'm hoping if I play on a table with some rubble or something, these guys can kind of be my shock troops. Also, they fit the theme that I'm going for pretty well. And my final infantry squad is an 8-man motorized section at regular. What makes these guys special is they have 2 LMGs, and my thought with them is that they're going to be my backline infantry squad, holding objectives in my deployment zone, and also having the range to reach out and put pins on enemy infantry. Moving on to our support teams, we have the medium machine gun team. Now I know this is the least optimal choice I can make, but I'm kind of hedging my bets as I spent a lot of money on travel and hotels to make it to this event, and I'd love to come home with some kind of award, whether that's for playing well or presenting well, I guess. But yeah, so the MMG fits the theme. It does get 6 shots because it has the German special rule, so that's at least nice, but can either support or I can use him to take objectives late in the game. Next up, we have the medium mortar at regular with a spotter. I never leave home without one of these. I feel like indirect fire is pretty priceless, and I do have a lot of indirect fire in this list, but because the mortar is specifically indirect fire, it allows me to be a little more flexible with my howitzers, and even aggressive with my howitzers. So this will take on any stationary units or weapons teams, artillery units, that type of stuff. And speaking of my howitzers, I have 2 medium howitzers, both with the spotter. One of them is free because of the Romanian special rule. The other one, of course, I'm paying full price for. Typically, I would run these, put one on either side of the table, and then crisscross the spotters so that I have line of sight to most of the table. But recently, I've been a little more aggressive with them, putting them, say, in the center of the table, or in a part that has clear lines of sight, a little more forward of my deployment zone. That way they can hold down firing lanes, hold down lines of advance. I can put them on ambush, make them really effective. And then with the spotters, I can also fire indirect if I need to, so they become pretty versatile. Alright, and finally, let's talk about vehicles. So my original list had a Romanian Panzer IIIN and a Romanian STKFZ222 in it. Unfortunately, both those are only available in theater selectors, and somehow both I and the tournament organizer missed that when my list was submitted. So about a week before the event, I've had to restructure my vehicles, and it may have downgraded the competitiveness of my list, but I still feel pretty decent about it. So here's what I've got now. I've got in my armored car slot a Romanian R1 tankette. This is from the Stalingrad book. It's a Armor 7 armor car. It does have recce, but it also has a turret-mounted HMG and a hull-mounted MMG, so not too bad. And then in my tank slot, I have a Renault R35. Yes, the famous R35. It's armor 8, armored all around, with a low-velocity light anti-tank gun and a coax MMG. It is also slow and has one-man turret, so not fantastic. But in my Axis support slot, I've taken a German Panzer III F. This is the version that was just a FAQ to have 18 machine gun shots. They added another coax machine gun to it, so this now becomes my heavy hitter as far as anti-infantry goes. But I'm still going to follow the same strategy I had before with the other Romanian armored vehicles, where probably my R35 is going to be rushed forward to kind of distract my opponent. Not really expecting him to take anyone out. If he can keep some of my opponent's units occupied while the rest of my army does the actual important stuff, then that's a mission accomplished. I also have a regular truck, most likely to transport my engineers. Unfortunately, the Romanians can't take an MMG on their truck, so just a basic transport. And so that's my list for my first ever competitive event. I'm really excited. I feel pretty confident in my list. I feel like I have enough firepower to take care of really any threat. Panzerfaust in each squad is going to help me to at least keep vehicles in check. I'm planning on playing my howitzers pretty aggressive, and I definitely want to play at least my R35 tank very aggressive, and perhaps keep my German Panzer III in reserve so I can bring it on exactly where there's a concentration of enemy infantry, and I can just let those machine guns go to work. Having 5 infantry squads is really important, I think. I think infantry win games, and certainly if it's an objective mission, you want those 5 infantry squads. So I am predicting 2 wins, 2 draws, and a loss. We will see very soon if that prediction is anywhere near the truth. And don't forget, by the time this video is released, you've got about 1 month to submit your kit bash for the kit bash contest. I've already got close to 15 entries from all over the world, and it's been really exciting to see what you guys have come up with. 1 month is plenty of time to get something together and painted and submitted. And there's more information on that in the previous video. Alright guys, we'll see you next time.